So, I just got back from the gym. And it's not that I'm just hearing the news, it's that it's literally just hitting me. When you listen to the news talk about something in a culture that they're not familiar with, you have all these thoughts in your head about the fact that two 20-year-old young men are no longer with us. XxxTentacion, excuse me, and Jimmy Wopo, both 20 years old. And the reason I guess it's hitting me that hard is because I just turned 40. So both of their lifetimes equal my one lifetime, and they're no longer here. So with that being the case, like, I think about the fact that, do we as black people, do we as Americans, we don't, I was going to ask a question, but the answer is clear. We don't value life on the whole. Of course there are individuals who value life, but our society does not value life on the whole. And this is what I mean. Before X died, people were berating him because he was facing some charges of female battery. Female battery is deplorable, don't get me wrong. It's not something that you can easily overlook. It's not something that anybody could sit back and say, well, that's easily forgivable. People, you know what I'm saying? That's not something you can get past. And he had a tumultuous, career for as short as it was. But I'm listening to the news talk about his death, and it's the local news where I live, so it's not like it's national news. And the way that, so they were like, Florida rapper dies due to fatal gunshot wound, suspected robbery. And then they went on to mention the fact that he was facing charges for battery and he had trouble with the law in the past. And that was it. So I gotta ask myself, I'm like, man, like, is that the legacy that's gonna get painted? Then you know what I mean? Then you say, obviously not, because they're not familiar with the culture. So, I go on Twitter and I look to hear what people have to say about it. And it's almost like a mixed bag of nuts for real, because you have some people who are like, oh, if he's beating women then he deserved to die and all this other stuff. And then you got people that are like, rest in peace, you're gone too soon, your talent was this, your talent was that. And I have to laugh, not because it's funny, but because of the hypocrisy of man, right? People are quick to well-wish once it's too late. Nori says something that I find very profound, for as simple as it is. Giving people their flowers while they can smell them. And we don't do that. We wait till somebody's long gone to appreciate them. And we do that constantly. Like, we tear people down before they die, then they die, and they're like, oh, we love them. But the other half of it is Jimmy Wopo was beloved. Like, nobody disliked him. There was nothing about him in the news that you would hear that was negative. Do we value life? Like, so I was on Twitter last night. This is what I wrote, because I want to read it verbatim. And the reason why I want to read it verbatim is because this is really how I feel about all of our well wishes once people pass away. I said I truly want people to remember every negative word they ever said about X when he was alive. Those will be the same ones tweeting RIP and for retweets and likes. Like, there are people undoubtedly who had nothing good to say about this young man before he passed away. But now you'll get people that are, oh, RIP, you know, praying hands for X. When 2 weeks ago you were probably talking bad about him because of his pending charges. But now you want to throw up prayers for his family just to get retweets and likes. That's strange to me. We live in a very strange society because of stuff like that. The stuff we do for likes, retweets, Instagram followers, Twitter followers, subscribers, the stuff we do. Like, we have such a false righteousness about us. But can't nobody tell us no different. You know what I'm saying? There's probably somebody sitting there that's going to say, what makes you better? It doesn't make me better, but to be honest with you, I've never had anything to say about this young man or Jimmy Wopo because I didn't really search their music out. Their music wasn't for me. The thing that I'm speaking on is the fact that these two 20-year-old young men, their 2 lives equal my 1 life, and they are no longer alive. When do we stop killing ourselves? That's what I want to know. Like, when do we stop? Like, I grew up in the 80s, man. I grew up in the 80s. Countless fist fights. Got jumped a number of times. But I'm sitting here telling you about it. These kids today, they'll say stuff online that maybe they mean, maybe they don't. Somebody catch them in traffic. Ain't no fist fight. And these kids are carrying guns that you can only get in Call of Duty. Like, it's do we even value life? Do we see life as precious? Like I said, you got people that'll retweet a story about XxX and Jimmy Wopo just to get retweets and likes, just to get their followers up. Is that what people have become? Is that the currency that we live in this current social media economy? We just see the person across from us as an opportunity to get a like, a retweet, a follow, and a subscribe. No matter what it takes, we'll capitalize over anything. And then you got other rappers who run around doing all kinds of off-the-wall stuff like Tekashi talking about, oh, XxX dying makes me think twice. Are you serious? That made you think twice? Oh, I don't know.